I want to start off by giving all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Rakah Kodash, Barakate Yahweh, Barakate Yahushai, Barakate Yahweh, Barakate Yahushai, Barakate Yahweh, Barakate Yahushai, Baharakah Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, who lead as examples to the flock, to the church of the firstborn. Salutations and peace and blessings to the Akim out there who are pushing this word sincerely for that penny a day, working in the vineyard, and to the rest of the 1/3, the men, women, and children who have been foreordained from before the world was, to be a part of the first dominion, to receive mercy through Yahweh's sacrifice, and to be reconciled, with our poor Yahweh, right? This lesson is going to be based on 2 articles that pretty much foreshadow, how the system of the MOTB is going to exert control, over the lives of people on this earth, and if you don't know what the MOTB is, it's the charagma, the CHIP, the implantable thing, that's written of in Revelation chapter 13, verses 16 on down, So we're going to start here with this article. Matter of fact, let's just start off with Habakkuk, as the apostle Allah Tahar keeps saying, we're living in Habakkuk. We're living in Habakkuk time. Habakkuk is speaking. All right, this is Habakkuk 2 verse 1. I will stand upon my watch and set me upon the tower. And, what's the purpose of a watchtower, of a watchman? The purpose of a watchtower and a watchman, right, is to make sure that they are vigilantly looking out for anything dangerous that may be approaching the city, right? Whether it be an army, an envoy, whatever it is, foul weather, and you would alert, the citizens of the city that, hey, there's something bad coming. Prepare yourselves, right? And will watch to see what he will say unto me, and what I shall answer when I am reproved, right? And the Lord answered me and said, write the vision and make it plain upon tables, that he may run that readeth it. The tables is what? This Bible. And it's plain to those who have the understanding, through the Spirit, right? For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. And right now we are at the end, and it is speaking, as the apostles keep saying and brothers keep saying, which is true. The prophecies are on rapid fire. So many things happening in the news right now. It's hard to keep up. And with Odyssey being becoming much more popular, it's easier to get alternative media sources, because YouTube been clamping down on the truth, but Odyssey is there. There's also Rumble, which is a little less popular than Odyssey, but it's also there. So the truth is being revealed. Of course, the men and the Lord are on the highways and the byways as well. Right? It says, write the vision, make it plain upon tables, that he may run that readeth it. For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it. It will surely come. It will not tarry. Right? So let's get back to the article. Right? So it says, Sri Lanka implements QR code digital ID fuel rationing. Right? And this was July 21st, 2022. So it says Sri Lanka has begun forcing citizens to use a QR code to access gas pumps as part of a nationwide fuel rationing scheme. And as the beloved elder Requircom brought out in his MOTB algorithm update, this also happened during World War II. Right? Anytime there is a period where supplies or food are short in a country, that government is going to implement rationing, right? And during the Second World War, what they had were physical cards, rationing cards, that you would use to keep track of how much food or supplies you've gotten from the government, right? Today, we're going to be using a digital rationing. Same thing happened in Iran a few months back, right? Where they introduced a digital rationing system in order to get bread, So reading on, it says, the policy was introduced by the Sri Lankan Minister of Power and Energy, Kanchana whatever that last name is, at the behest of Sri Lanka's new Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe, whatever it is, a member and agenda contributor of the World Economic Forum. After initial technical issues, fuel pass QR system was successfully tested today. The pilot project will continue before going national next week. Last digit number plate fuel quota will ease the fuel lines in the next few days, with the distribution speeding up island-wide. Right? It says, I thank the fuel stations owners who supported the public that adopted and assisted, forces and volunteers that assisted and implemented it. Some fuel stations did not adopt it, and some individuals manipulated or falsified QR codes and did not want this implemented. However, it will be enforced island-wide. So that means that you won't be able to get fuel for your vehicle without this QR code. And that's a foreshadowing, of the MOTB system that they're bringing in, where you won't be able to buy or sell or participate really in social life or in economic life without that charagma, right? That chip. We're going to jump over here to a news a little bit older, about a month and a half or a month. It says from BBC News, Henan, China Sea Up, that word, Sea Up, restricts residents after banking process. All right, and if you're not following what's going on in the news, pretty much over there in China, a bank in the Henan province offered citizens, savings of up to 6%. So people took, their life savings and a bag of money and put it into those banks because they said, hey, that's a big return on my savings. 6% is really high for a savings return account. But really and truly what they were doing were investing them in wealth management assets, so they were actually not savings. And then eventually the company just pretty much just absconded with the money, and then they pretty much just they turned off online withdrawals or online transactions. They stopped them from withdrawing at the ATM, and that was months ago. So now people are protesting, like crazy, in the Henan province. And then there were people outside of the Henan province that had actually signed up with the bank that wanted to travel to Henan, to go and protest. But this is what happened. It says authorities in the Chinese province of Henan are suspected to be restricting some residents' move using a Sea Up. You see the word right there, following rare protests. Multiple people say they are being forced to quarantine, blocked from public transport or entering buildings. Most appear to be customers of 4 rural banks which had run into issues providing cash withdrawals, report Chinese media outlets. And this is also a foreshadowing of what's to come here, because when these banks fail, there's going to be a run on the bank and you're not going to be able to get your money, right? Because this whole fractional reserve banking works is that, the minimum that you have to keep in the bank, is about 10%. And I believe that that was removed. Fractional, I believe that was removed to 0. Reserve banking, I believe that was removed to 0. So now they don't have to have anything on hand, right? I believe the news was passed somewhere. I believe that it was the Fed that passed it, to say that no, the banks don't have to have that 10% on hand, because usually, the bank would have to have, if you gave them $100, to put in your account, they could loan out $90 out of that and only had to keep $10 in, right? That restriction was removed, so if there's a run on the bank, best believe the bank will not have nowhere near enough, right, to supply the withdrawals of the citizens, right? It says most appear to be customers of 4 rural banks which are running into issues providing cash withdrawals, report Chinese media outlets. The banks froze deposits, prompting angry demonstrations last month. China's banking and insurance regulator has since ordered an investigation into the banks. More than 39 billion yuan or £5 billion, $6 billion, is believed to have been frozen, affecting hundreds of thousands of customers. In many Chinese cities, residents use a health code app to enter buildings and shops, use public transportations, or leave the city. Doesn't that sound like, right? Users must scan a QR code to show a color-coded health status on their phone before entering. If the status turns red, it indicates that the person tested positive for the Big C recently or is suspected to have it, right, and must quarantine for 14 days. On Tuesday, some residents found their status had turned red when they tried to enter trains, buildings, or hotel. It is not known how many have been affected, but Chinese reports indicate that the issue has been occurring in several towns and villages in Henan. Customers of the four banks who traveled from other provinces to Henan's capital city, Jingzhou, have also encountered the same issue. One banking customer in Jingzhou told BBC Chinese her status was red even though she had never been in contact with a confirmed case and her most recent test showed she was negative. Right? So they were using this to control the people's movement. Right? Again, matter of fact, let's just get it. Let's just get it. Right? Let's just get Revelation. Revelation 13 and verse 15. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, and that the image of the beast should speak, and cause that many should not worship the image of the beast should be killed. Right? Right now the image is in full-fledged, right? Rolling out. Right? The WEF and the Great Reset, the Agenda 2030 is the perfection of that beast, that beast system. And he caused it all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark, a charagma, in their right hand or in their forehead, that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Right? And we're seeing different systems popping up, right, that foreshadow that. Right? Let's get some precepts. Job chapter 15 verse 34, for the congregation of the hypocrite shall be desolate, and fire shall consume the tabernacles of bribery. What's that fire? That fire is the nuclear fire. It shall consume the tabernacles of bribery. They conceive mischief and bring forth vanity. Their belly prepare deceit. Yeah, because all these different things that they're selling to people, the green agenda, climate change, and how we need to, put these drastic measures in place to save our planet, the Big C and the YAB, the JAB, CBDCs and their various benefits and all these things. These are deceits, right? And there's mischief behind them. The whole Great Reset is a mischief, right? That's been done over on the people, right? Psalm 28, I'll start from verse 1. Unto thee will I cry, O Lord, my rock, be not silent to me, lest if thou be silent to me, I become like them that go down into the pit. Yeah, because without Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, we would, go down into the pit, Hear the voice of the supplications when I cry unto you, right? When I lift up my hands toward thy holy oracle. Draw me not away with the wicked and with the workers of iniquity, which speak peace to their neighbors, but mischief is in their heart. And that's what they're doing, They're telling you that these measures are for your own good. We're saving the planet. We're saving you, right? The food supply chain is unsustainable. The banking that we have now is unsustainable. We need to bring something that's better, something that's more sustainable, something that's more equitable. And all in all, the idea is to bring a system where they have total control and regulation over people's lives. So they speak peace to their neighbor, but what? But mischief is in their heart, right? Give them according to their deeds and according to the wickedness of their endeavors. Their endeavors are wicked, right? Give them after the work of their hands, render to them their desert, because they regard not the works of the Lord, nor the operation of his hands. He shall destroy them and not build them up. Right? Psalm 94 verse 20, shall the throne of iniquity have fellowship with thee, will frame it mischief by a law. So all these different laws that are being passed, for example, the one in Sri Lanka, right, where the citizens have to get that QR code in order to access fuel. What do you think is going to happen worldwide when there's a global food shortage? And that's coming, right? This year, the year 2022, right, food prices are going up because of supply chain issues. right? Next year, all the farmers and suppliers are saying that the food is going to be short, not because of supply chain issues, because there's no food, right? And there's different laws that are causing that. For example, the green agenda in the Netherlands, and in other countries, is forcing farms to close, livestock farms especially. That's deliberately causing a food shortage, right? Telling people that they need to eat more plant-based things and synthetic meats. They gather themselves together against the soul of the righteous and condemn the innocent blood. But the Lord is my defense, and my God is my rock and my refuge. He shall bring upon them their own iniquity, and shall cut them off in their own wickedness. Yea, the Lord our God shall cut them off. Yeah, those missiles that they've created, it's going to be their downfall, Micah 2:1, woe unto them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it, because it is in the power of their hands. These people that are in the WEF, they've set up, governments, world leaders, puppets all across the globe, and they're all pushing an agenda. Here in Jamaica, it's the same thing with Andrew Holness. There's an agenda being pushed, with the CBDC being made legal tender, the NIDS, which is the new digital identification system, being pushed out, here in Jamaica. It's all a part of the WEF plans, the Great Reset plans, Agenda 2030, and they covet fields and take them by violence, and houses and take them away. So they oppress a man and his house, even a man and his heritage, right? It looks like that was so hopefully this lesson was edifying, through the Spirit. Until next time, Shalom.